Welcome back, everybody. So moving on to the large mask. This should fit most men. Alright, let's get started with a slip knot. And we're going to chain 8. And then all you're going to do is single crochet back across 7. So starting in the only stitch you can get into. So you can just pull this, your slip knot closed. You want to chain 2, turn your work, and now we're just going to put double crochets in those same stitches all the way across. So 7 double crochets. And don't forget to get into this weird guy at the end. Holy heck. Holy wow, that was difficult. Okay. Great, chain 2. Turn your work. So this is where we're going to start our increases. So we're going to do 2 double crochets in the first stitch, and then 2 double crochets in the last stitch, and then just regular double crochets in between, and that's going to give us our increase. So 2 double crochets in the first stitch. So I'm going to put 1 in here. And because I already chained 2, that gives me 2 stitches. So I don't have to put any more in there. So I'm just going to go across to the last hole. And I'm going to put 2 in here. Then you're going to chain 2. And we're going to do this for the next 7 rows. So I got my row counter here. So I'll put 1. I'll make sure this says 8 on it when I'm done. So again, put 1 in here. And with your chain 2, that makes 2 stitches. So we can go right on to the next stitch. And I'm going to put 2 in here. Oh, something went wrong there. So try to get it in that stitch. A lot of people will go into this right here, and then you end up with a big hole on the side. But there is actually a stitch in there. It's just the one at the end is so difficult. I don't know why. So chain 2. And 2 in this last one. Sorry, chain 2 and turn your work. And 2 in this last one. Chain 2. And 2 in this last one. Chain 2. The counter says 6, so 2 more. and chain 2. So one more row. We're on the last one. Oops. Chain 2 and turn your work. So as you can see, we are halfway there. So at this point we're just going to do regular stitches all the way across. All right, so our next few rows is just going to be simply, oh sorry, there's already a stitch there. It's just going to be regular double crochets. I almost said single. Regular double crochets all the way across. You don't need to worry about this hole. Go into this hole. There's already a stitch taking up that hole. We are counting the 2 as a stitch. Chain 2. And chain 2. Turn your work. So as you can see, this is where we get this part from. Is that we come up, and then we started. It's not a decrease, but it looks like that because we're evening off. So that's where this comes from. And now we're going to start our decreases. So we're going to come back down the other side. So our decreases are pretty easy. You're simply going to double crochet 2 stitches together, the 2 first ones and the 2 last ones. For every other row, if you're working ahead of me. So come into the very first hole, right there. Like you're going to do a double crochet, but don't. Sorry. Come through the first 2, and then don't do anything. Yarn over and go into the second hole. Come through 2, and then come through all 3. So I'll show you again once we get back down to the other side. And then just regular double crochets all the way back up or down. So I'm at my last 2, so yarn over, trying to get into that stitch. So I'm going to grab some yarn, I'm going to pull through 2 like I'm doing a double crochet, but then I'm going to stop. I'm going to yarn over again, and I'm going to go into the second stitch, and I'm going to come through 2, then I'm going to come through 3, and then chain 2. So that's how we're going to do our decreases for the rest of the way. But the next row is just going to be 1 double crochet all the way across, which means don't go into this first hole because it's got a stitch. So you're just doing double crochets all the way across, and then your next row is going to be a decrease row, and then the next row is going to be a regular row, and so on and so forth. So that's how we're doing this. Chain 2. There's a decrease, so yarn over, go into this first hole, grab some yarn, come through 2 and stop, yarn over, go through the second stitch, come through 2, come through 3, and then regular double crochets all the way over to the other side to the last 2 stitches. So we're going to do the last 2 together. Chain 2, turn your work, Oh, not that hole. It's going to be just a regular double crochet row. Chain 2. Almost done. Chain 2. So if you're working ahead of me, we started with 7 across. So we chained 8 and we had 7 stitches across. We stop our decreases when we have 7 stitches across, which is right here. Alright, so we've got what we need left to finish the other side of the mask. So I'm going to double crochet, and 7, chain 2, no, chain 1, sorry, here, because we have to do single crochet. So we're just doing the opposite of what we did when we started. So now we're just going to do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 single crochets in every stitch. Now don't fasten off. If you've seen my other videos, you know we don't fasten off. We're going to chain 20. There's 20. So turn your work, and you're going to come back down into that last stitch, and you're going to do a slip stitch. And then you're going to start single crocheting all around the whole end till you get down to here. So just anywhere you can get your needle into. This just gives it a nice edge. Now instead of going into the big holes, I'm actually trying to make a stitch under 2 pieces of yarn. Sometimes I'm lucky enough, sometimes I get 1 piece of yarn, and that's fine. The next stitch will pull that down anyway. But I don't want to stretch out those bigger holes, so I'm not going to go into those. Now, as per the disclaimer at the beginning of the video, this will not stop you from getting coronavirus. It will only stop you from spreading coronavirus. So we're back up to this edge. I'm going to put 2 in the same hole. And then I'm going to chain 20. And then I'm going to come right over here and I'm going to go right into this end stitch and I'm going to do a slip stitch and pull that tight, and then I'm just going to continue my single crochets back up to where I started and then fasten off. So like I've stated in my other videos, these masks are great for cleaning with bleach, for pregnant women that want to maybe clean out some kitty litter without having that smell permeating their nostrils, for painting, for, well, me working in my wood shop. A lot of useful things you can use a dust mask for. It's not just for a coronavirus, and that's not why I'm making the video. But well, I guess it is one of the reasons why I'm making the video, because everyone and their concerns about spreading it to others and continuously spreading it around. You know, this will stop at least the spread. It won't stop you from getting it. It's not that sort of a virus. So I suggest even wearing the mask, you still cough into your elbow and stuff, just like the disclaimer says. But also, wear gloves. It's not just about wearing a mask, it's about gloves too. So I'm right back here where I started. So I'm just going to fasten off. And just going to tuck this bad boy away. Just going to go right up these stitches. So depending on how tight you were pulling your yarn, it does cut. I stretched mine out after. But there you have it. You've got your larges. Alright guys, time to make a little wee baby one. Because babies need masks too. So, I mean, you certainly don't want your baby getting sick. So, this won't stop, but it'll help because of the fibers in it and stuff like this. So, it'll help. You see all these adults walking around all the time and you never see kids wearing masks. I don't understand that. So for this one, we're using a 3.5 and this yarn calls for a 5.5 hook. So we're going down quite a bit, but this is tight. It is nice and tight. Like I have to really pull it apart to find my stitches. It's a nice tight mask. So we start with a slip knot as usual. So we're going to chain 5. And you're going to single crochet 4 back across. So this is just your slip knot coming undone. You can just pull that closed. No big deal. So chain 2. And now you're going to double crochet in those 4 stitches. And the last one, which is always so easy to get into. Chain 2. And again, we're starting our increase right away. So you're going to put 2 double crochets in the first and 2 double crochets in the last, and then just normal stuff in between. So the same as the one we just did on this video is you're only going to put 1 in there because of the chain 2. We're counting it as a stitch, so there's 2 stitches in there right now. So regular double crochets to get to the last stitch. And then you're going to put 2 double crochets into that last stitch. Chain 2. So we're going to do this for 4 rows. Oh, I usually wear this on my finger, but reset. There we go. So 1 in this hole with the chain 2 makes it 2 stitches. So we're only doing this for 4 rows. Oh, I got stragglers. And 2 in this last stitch. Chain 2. Last row. Alright, so we're going to do the next 3 rows are going to be just simply straight double crochets all the way across. So we're not going to go into this hole. It already has a chain 2. We're going to go into this hole. Chain 2. So the next row is going to be start our decrease row. So we're going to double crochet 2 together. So we are going to go right into this chain 2 hole. So yarn over like you're going to do a double crochet, go into the hole, grab some yarn, come up, go through 2 and stop. Yarn over and go through the second stitch, yarn over, come through 2, yarn over, and now you're coming through 3. And that's how you do 2 together. So do regular crochet all the way across to get to the next 2, or the last 2. And double crochet those 2 together. Just like that. Chain 2. So we have 4 stitches across. We're going to double crochet. You're going to chain 1. You're going to single crochet those 4 stitches. Now you're going to chain 10. Turn your work, go into that top stitch and do a slip stitch. Tiny, but I can do it. And now you're just going to single crochet just like we just did with the other one, all the way around to this side. Wherever you can get your hook in. Just remember to hold tight. It doesn't have to be super tight, but we don't want it to be loose. And doing this and pulling tight will give it that arch shape so it fits around your face better. See, mine's starting to arch like that. You can stretch it out after. It's fine. It'll stretch out. So I'm going to put 2 up here near the corner. Then I'm going to chain 10. Then I'm going to come down, do the same thing as I did last, or over on the other side there. I'm going to slip stitch. And then I'm just going to continue on with my single crochets all across. Till you get back over to the other side, which shouldn't take long. It's a tiny little thing. So you can just fasten off once you get back up here. I'm going to put 1 stitch in here. I'm going to fasten off. So I just put an extra stitch in there. So it's all like deformed right now, but you can just pull that out. It's very cuppy around, but you want it to cup around your face. That's what you want. No point wearing a mask if it's not cupping around your face. So we're just going to hide our ends like we did with the other ones. I can come straight across here to make life easy. As long as you're weaving. And then we can hide this one. It's not so much hiding. I don't know why I keep saying that. It's more about securing than hiding. But that's what I say. Even though I know it's not true. There you go. Now we have our child's mask and our grown-up mask. You want it to fit snug. Keep that in mind. For masks, you want them to fit snug. So, and now we have a little infant baby mask. So, thanks for joining me, guys. I'll see you in the next video.